Hey everybody, thanks for clicking the thumbnail and I hope you enjoy the video. And this video is a Montreal Canadiens Odds and Ends video, in which my Odds and Ends videos are a bunch of different news stories, news of the day, this day in history, that kind of stuff, and stories that aren't big enough for a whole video. Now this story is kind of big enough for a whole video, but we're going to put it in the Odds and Ends video, and that is The Athletic, the magazine, online magazine, hockey magazine, really good magazine, good stories, good writers, and they did a survey of Habs fans, and they asked a bunch of questions. Now they did the survey twice this year. Once was around the time that the league shut down. I'm not sure if it was just before, just after, right around then, and then they did it after Mark Bergeved had made all his moves, so the playoffs had finished, free agency, the draft, free agency, all that had happened, and they did it again. And some of the questions are kind of interesting, so I saw this today and I thought, I think that make a good video. Let's take a look at the differences in some of the answers from before and after, and then some of the other questions that don't really make a difference if it was asked before or after. Okay, yeah, you know what I mean by that. So let's go. Maybe you don't know what I mean by that. I don't know why I said that. So these are all the questions right here. There's 18 of them that I'm going to talk about. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read off the question, and then I'm going to give the results over here. We'll erase and go to the next one. So first question up, and we won't waste any time. Do you consider the Canadiens, as they are currently constituted, now this was the first time was before the offseason moves, to be a playoff caliber team in 2020-2021? I'm going to do this in orange and see how this works. So the answers, possibility answers were yes and no. So for the yes side, 37.8% at that time felt that the Habs were a playoff caliber team. And the no's were obviously 62.2%. Now, when they asked that in the second part, so the second time, which was, like I said, I guess, I'm going to say July, but that's not when free agency was this year. When was it? October? Something like that. So when they asked that after the free agency and Bergeved had made his moves, the yes and the no, the yeses became 95.3%. And the no's became 4.7%. So you can see Habs fans in general had a huge swing in how they thought the team would do, right? If they were next season, if they were going to be a playoff team or not. And you can see, I'd say that Habs fans were pleased with the moves. Okay, let's get rid of that. Next up. Next up is, what are the chances for the Canadiens? I should look at the camera. What are the chances for the Canadiens to win a cup in the next 5 years? This is on a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. And this is what they said. So in the first survey, 12.1% of the respondents said either 4 or 5. So that means that only 4 or 5. So that 12.1% was favorable, that they thought Habs could win a cup in the next 5 years. And 57.7% said gave a 1 or a 2, which not very likely. Now, when they asked it again, 32.6% gave a 4 or 5. So that's up about 20%, 20.5%. And only 26.3% gave in the 1 or 2. So you can see that dropped well below half, and everything's changed. So again, fans really like the moves that Bergeved has made. Next question, number 3. It's about the approval of Mark Bergeved. I forget, I didn't write down the whole question, but basically, do you approve in the job Mark Bergeved has done? Now, this was before the moves were made in the off season. Let's see if I got it right. The first survey 40.7% said we're in the 7 to 10 range. This is on a scale of 1 to 10 for this one. I don't know why they did 1 to 5 and then 1 to 10, but this is on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. 40.7% approved of him, basically rating 7 to 10. In the second survey, 86.4% gave him a 7, 8, 9, or 10. I shouldn't say or to 10. More than twice the amount approved. So the moves he made, everyone likes them in general. Most people like them, and his approval rating has kind of gone up. And Bergman hasn't had a great approval rating over the last couple of seasons. That is for sure. Next question, and this goes to do this again with Bergman. If Canadiens miss the 2021 playoffs, will Marc Bergeved be back as GM? So this is one that is only been asked in the last survey. This wasn't asked earlier, but it goes along with the Bergeved. So we got yes and no. The yeses said 44.3%, and the no's obviously the opposite, I believe, 55.7%. So what that means is 44.3% of people think that Marc Bergeved will be back even if they don't make the playoffs in this coming season, where 55.7% think that he won't be back if they don't make the playoffs. I tend to agree at this point with the moves he's made and everything. I tend to agree that he might not be, but I don't know. Personally, I don't know. Okay, next up. The question of approval of Marc Bergeved, they asked it of Claude Julien. So do you approve of the job Claude Julien has been doing before the, I think it was before the return to play? In the first, oh, you know what? I'm not sure when they asked this. They might have only asked this in general. Do you approve of Claude Julien and the job he's doing in general? In the first survey, 48.5%. Is this on a sliding scale? Also, sliding scale of 1 to 10. Only 48.5% gave 7 to 10 as an answer. And in the second survey, 71.3%. So with all the moves and I guess the results in the playoffs, even though Claude only coached in the first, I don't even think he finished the, did he go to the second round at all? I don't remember when he had his incident. But even so, his approval rating went up that much more. So right now, Claude Julien is sitting at a good approval rating. Next up, Carrie Price's ability to be a top 5 goalie. On a scale of 1 to 5, what do you think Carrie Price's ability to be a top 5 goalie is? In the first survey, oh, I should erase this one, right? In the first survey, and with Carrie Price, it's kind of interesting, I guess. He's favorable in both. More so in the second one, but in the first survey, he still gets a very favorable 66.3% that think that Carrie Price is capable to be a top 5 goalie in the league. Sorry, just hair pulling out from my microphone. That's all. Second survey, that went up to 85.7%. So Carrie Price fared well in both, but you can definitely see that people after the return to play, how he played there, and considering the backup situation now, and the team itself probably being better both defensively, offensively, people think that even more so Carrie Price will be a top 5 goalie. Turn the page, number 7, I think we're on. Are you confident in the Canadiens' strategy to build around Carrie Price and Shea Weber as their 2 cornerstones? So are you confident that there's enough time? I think that's basically what they're saying, that for Shea Weber and Carrie Price, for the team to build around them and win a cup. I would think that's the point. So the question, I think this is one that was just asked in the one survey. It's a yes or no answer. And the yeses got 64.2%. And the no's got 35.8%. So in general, Habs fans are, and this is not on a huge sample, it's around 2,000 fans that took part. But in general, yes, Habs fans believe that Carrie Price and Shea Weber are still young enough, I guess, or still will be around long enough for them to build a team around them and have a winning, maybe win a cup, but be contenders, right? Next up, number 8. How confident are you about the Canadiens' pool of players 23 and under? On a scale of 1 to 5, so that sliding scale from 1 being worst, 5 being best, 79% in the first survey. No, 79 in this survey, it was only the one time, voted 4 or 5. But then if you add 3, 4, and 5, 97.4% of people, to some varying degrees, believe that they're very confident in the young kids going forward in the pipeline that Montreal has. Next up, number 9. What point range, this is the interesting one, the next two, I think people are going to be very interested. What point range do you expect for Nick Suzuki? So Nick Suzuki's point range. So your options are under 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, 50 to 60, and then 60 plus. At the 60 plus, there's 10.6% of the people think he can hit 60 plus. I am in that. I think he can hit it. I don't know if he will, but I think he can. I do think he can this season. In the 50 to 60 is the bulk of people. 53.6% think he'll hit 50 to 60 people. So between, it's like 60, almost 65% of people think he will hit 50 plus points. Let's put it that way. 40 to 50 range, 29.3. That's not a 3, right? 30 to 40 range, 6%. And 0.5% for under 30. So relatively, hardly anybody thinks that he's going to get under 30 points. He hit 41 points in 71 games this past season. Capable, if you prorate, that's about 46 points. So he's almost hit 50 already with the improved wingers on his line, with Josh Anderson especially. I think he goes up higher than that. So I think 60 to 65 is a possibility, but definitely between 50 and 60, definitely. But I would be voted in that 60 plus range. Now, we asked the same thing, so I won't erase that part of Jesperi Kotkaniemi, or KK for the Habs fans. So what will KK get? Same question for next season. We'll start from the bottom. 0.6% believe he'll hit 60 plus points. I'd have to agree with that. 11.4% have him at 50 to 60. I'm not in that range either yet. Now here's where I am with most people. 55% of people think that, of the people who entered this survey or took part, think that he'll get 40 to 50 points. I think he should land somewhere in there. It's encouraging what he's doing in Finland right now with his old team. The points are starting to come. He's looking really good. It's encouraging. The 30 to 40 range, only 29% are in there. And the less than 30, he gets 4%. So very interesting, but I'm in the 40 to 50 range. Let me know in the comment section where you are on some of these. You guys down there in the comment section, let me know what you think. And let me know, did you take part in this survey? I didn't, but I would have liked to. I didn't see it. I don't know if I was, I guess I did. I missed it. Because that's my third month, third month with the Athletic. So next up is, what are your expectations for Alex Romanov in his first season? So what are your expectations? The options are, he'll spend time in Laval. Third pair. Most of the season, or all of the season, I guess. With Petrie. With Weber. Or Calder candidate. Calder winner? Finalist? Calder finalist. So, does he not make the team? Is he on the third pair for most of the season or all of the season, like I kind of think it's going to be? Does he make it up to play with Petrie at some point? Does he make it all the way up to play with Weber at some point? Or is he a Calder finalist? So percentages for these now are time in Laval, 13.4%. So that's a good amount of people that think that he might go to Laval. Third pairing, I think this is where most people are, 54.3%. That's where I'm at. I think he's going to be on third pairing most of the season. I think at some point he may move up, but I think for at least most of the season, if not all, he'll be on that third pair. With Petrie, as Petrie's partner, 23% of people think that. And as Weber's partner, only 6.2% think that. And as a Calder finalist, 3.1% think that. So where are you on that one? Let me know in the comment section there. Also, like I said, I think he'll be on the third pair for most of the season, and we'll see how that goes. Yeah, we're getting through these. Next up, which Canadiens acquisition, that means the new players, are you most excited about? So we got Jake Allen. I'm going to list them as I did here. Anderson. And it's funny because I eliminated, they had two Andersons. I think one was Josh and a Jeff Anderson. I don't know where they got that from. So I eliminated that one and it had a sliver of a thing on the... So Edmondson and Toffoli. So... Well, I guess I can't ask you who do you think before I write it, but let me know who you think it is in the comment section. So 8% for Allen, which, he's a backup goalie. I understand that. He's going to play a lot of games, a lot more than we're expecting for a backup goalie, but I understand that. Josh Anderson, he's the big one. Well, let me go. I spoiled it, I guess. He gets the most, 55.2%. And I think for everybody, we want to see this big guy on the wing, see if he can score, see if everything is kind of true about him that they've been saying. For me, I think I'm most excited about Anderson. I know, Jeff, if you're watching, you're going to say Toffoli. I know that without a doubt, and that's cool. For Edmondson, he gets the least, 1.1%. That's the job of a defenseman. Hey, it's just, there's no glory. And Tyler Toffoli gets the 35.7%. So, Anderson's got a bit more. I think between the two of them, that's what we all want to see, the offense. We want to see this improved offense. So definitely can understand that. Plus Anderson, big body like that, banging people around in front. We're not going to be an easy mark anymore for those kind of things. Next one. What do I think? No, what do you think? What do you think of Josh Anderson's 7-year, $5.5 million AAV contract? I should erase the other responses. So the options for this one are, it's good value for Montreal. Too much term. Okay, too much. I'll have to do it anyway. Too much AAV. And fair deal. Good value for the contract, 7.2%. Which I thought was kind of low. I'm a little surprised. Too much term, 58.1%. That's where the bulk of people come in. I'm not in there. I don't think it's too much term. I think it's probably what they needed to do to get the guy at a really good price. And I think in the long run, when he's a couple of seasons into this deal, everyone's going to be loving this guy. Probably right away in the first season. Too much on the cap hit. Okay, wrong. I'm looking at the wrong one. 7.7%. So only 7.7 think that it's too much money per on the AAV, and the fair deal 27%. I am definitely in the camp of either good value or fair deal, honestly. I think it's still a good value. Yeah, it's a little long. He's young, though, and it shouldn't be a problem. Unless he gets injured, it's not going to be a problem, I don't think. And, yeah, so there you go. That's where I fall on that one. Next up. Same thing for Brendan Gallagher. Same question. What do you think of Brendan Gallagher's 6-year deal? I guess I should have left it all up. So it's good. It is term is too high, AAV is too high, or it's fair. I'm going to save myself time by not erasing that. On good value, he gets 33%. So he's got higher, even though his money is higher, he's still getting 33%. More people think that's good value. The term being too high, 15.1% think it's too high for term. So that's 6 years, $6.5 million. Too much cap hit at the $6.5 million, only 3.3%. That's where I'm surprised, is that people didn't say too much AAV. And is it a fair deal? This is where most people will land. It's where I land at 48.6%. I think that's fair. That's what he was going to get. I don't see anything wrong. Sure, $5.5 million would have been nicer for the team and for all those things, but I think he deserves it, and it's what he was going to get. Next up, number 15. If Phil Deneau wants no less than $5.5 million, so let me say that again. If Phil Deneau wants no less than $5.5 million AAV for his next contract, the Canadiens should sign him, sign short term. It's a lot of writing. Lock him up. That means long term. I know it's not political in the States. Lock him up long term. Let him walk. At the end of his contract, let him walk for nothing. We're getting nothing back in return. Trade him now. And one more option. Trade him at the deadline. So, sign him short term, 45.5% of the people thought that was what they wanted. Lock him up long term, 27.7%. Thought that would be best. Let him walk, 5.3%. Trade him, 5.4%. And trade him at the deadline goes up to 16.1%. For me, I fall in, sign him short term. If it's a problem for the salary and everything and whatever, sign him short term, and he can go get his money elsewhere or whatever that means. But for me, I'd probably say sign him short term, see how it goes. There's other guys coming up. You might find a center in there to replace him, or things might settle down with him and he'll want to sign for a little less long term. We'll have to see if that made any sense. Number 16, which of these players is least likely to be a Hab in 21-22? So which of these 5 players is least likely to still be a Montreal Canadiens player in not this coming season, the one after that, 21-22. Let's erase this. And we have Armia, Byron, Deneau, Lehkonen. I'm just going to write Lecky because it's easier. And Tatar. Start off with Armia. Armia gets 10.5% people think Armia might be gone after this season. Paul Byron, 26.3 people think that he'll be gone after this season. For Phil Deneau, only 5% of people think that he'll be gone after this season. Lehkonen, only 3.3%. And Thomas Tatar gets the whopping 54.9%. I think it's more likely that it's going to be Tatar. And I think it's between Tatar and Byron probably are going to be the guys that are going to be gone because of salary, the cap hit. And that's what I think. So I fall in one of those two. I didn't vote in this one, so I would have been choosing between those two guys. Number 17. Where do you think the Canadiens finish in an all-Canadian division? So we got first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh. Okay, so seventh. We'll start out with the bottom. Seventh, nobody surveyed picked number 7. I think that's fair. I doubt they're going to finish at the bottom unless there's huge injury stuff like that. Okay, but those are unforeseen things, right? So I would definitely agree with that. At 6, 0.6%. So again, not too many people think they'll finish as low as 6th. In 5th place, it goes up to 3%. So again, not a lot of people think they'll finish as low as 5th. It goes up to 12.7% for 4th place. Let me see. It goes up, and most people fall here in 3rd place at 44%. Next is 32%. So basically, the bulk of people believe that they'll fall in between 2nd and 3rd, and it's only 7.7% for 1st. I have to say, I would fall in there with the bulk of people. Probably it's going to be 3rd, but I could see them finishing 2nd. But yeah, I'd fall in with the bulk of the people who responded. And our final question. If money were no object, this is the big one too. If money and geographical location were not an issue, under what condition would you be willing to go to the Bell Center in 2021? Or 2020, 2021. So this upcoming season. So the options are not comfortable, not comfy. If they're only 0 to 50% capacity, you're okay with 50 to 100% capacity. Rapid tests at the door. And vaccine, only if there's a vaccine out. I go one up on that because I saw a really good idea. Only if, once the vaccine is out, it's, you have a proof of that you had the vaccine. So once you've shown proof when you purchase the tickets and at the door that you've had the vaccine, I'd be comfortable with that more. Okay, so the percentages. Not comfortable at all, 16%. I'm probably going to put myself in that category right there. 0 to 50% capacity, 21.1% of people said they'd be comfortable with that. 50% to 100%, only 8.9% said they'd be comfortable with that. If there were rapid tests as you went in at the door, only 12.8% were comfortable with that. And if there was a vaccine, that's where the bulk of people came in at 41.1%. So 41.1% of the people surveyed said they would be comfortable to go back to the Bell Center if there was a vaccine. And that could happen as soon as early next year. So we'll see how that works out. So there you go. That's the Athletics, Habs, what do they call it? Habs fan, let me see, I don't even know what it's called. Habs fan survey. These were the results. It was in, I just got it in my email today, and I thought it'd be interesting. So if you like that, give it a thumbs up. And if you have any comments about any of these where you would vote on it, whatever you want in the comment section, let me know. And if you're new to the channel or you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe, ring that notifications bell, and that's going to get you your daily fix of Bleu Blanc Rouge right here at Talkin' Habs. Long videos like this one, shorter videos, in between videos. So check it out, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video. So thanks for watching, everybody. I do appreciate it. It's snowing here in Montreal. Not horribly, but it's snowing. And yeah, stay safe out there. And I'll see you next video. Bye-bye, y'all. Peace out, and have a great night. Bye, everybody.